And I am Chandrakant. This is a session where we will actually talk about what is the pragmatic approach towards partnership, towards successful business. And today in this episode, we will be talking about hints. And to discuss that, we will have a very special guest joining us from UK. So I'll take a very short break and join back along with my guest. Don't go anywhere. Welcome back, friends, and I am very honored and pleased to have Mr. Mike Bradley in our studios. Welcome to the show, Mike. How are you doing today?
I'm very good, Chandra. Thank you very much, and good afternoon to you. And trust all has gone well for you this last week.
Yes, thank you so much, Mike. Everything is well, live and kicking, and very excited to start the discussion with you today. And it's about pragmatic approach towards partnership, which is so important. Such an apt subject to discuss. And I think today is part 3 of the series, and you're going to tell us the hints, isn't it, Mike?
I'm going to give you a few hints and tips. Yeah, I mean, these are not always cast in concrete, but hopefully a few will be of use. Obviously, previously we've spoken about how do you identify the right partners, and also the 4 pillars of pitching and proposals with partners. So today, yes, hints and tips. I guess to start by thinking about the overall goals of partnering. And forgive me for using alliteration. I'm always using this. I find it helps me to remember, if nothing else. So productivity, performance, and payback. That's one of the reasons you want to partner if you're a growing SME company looking to expand efficiently and effectively. Those are the considerations. So productivity, performance, or payback, I should say. Secondly, another alliterative statement: resources, revenues, and returns. It's all about those 3 R's. Not writing, reading, and arithmetic, but resources, revenues, and returns. That's what we're all interested in the business world. How we can achieve, particularly within partnering, a win-win. So I think those are the overall goals we need to remember. That said, let's look at some of the hints and tips. First of all, I always say that you need to go top down. It's absolutely 0 point going into a partner or joint venture with another company and without getting executive sponsorship, securing, if you like, the hunting license to go work with the team, the partner team, to go and develop business. If you don't have executive support, you're going to struggle. So that is fundamental on the starting blocks. To use an Olympic analogy, that's one of the first things you need to ensure is you've got top-down engagement and support. The second one is another key partnership principle, if you're going internationally, and this is sometimes called glocal, which is go global but act local. That means that you've got to realize that different countries, different regions, even different areas of a country, they have different cultural norms, different ways of doing things. And so if you're wanting to achieve an effective go global strategy, don't go steamrolling in your international plan. Go in there with your product and identify local people on the ground to work with and take you into their trusted clients, because you are relying on them to open the doors for you. So you have to ensure you do it in a way that is locally suitable. The third one I have is this is my own interpretation of Pareto's law, the 80-20 rule. Okay, because when you're going in to work with a partner, you don't want to work with necessarily every one of their accounts. If you want to get fast results, you need to ensure you work on their top 20% customers who are delivering 80% of their business. So don't go in there saying, oh, share your account list with me. go in with the support of the executives, with the support of the sales management, go to the top salespeople and work with their top clients and work to ensure that you develop the initial opportunities in conjunction with them. Otherwise, you will be pushing jelly uphill. There's some starters. So I'll come back to you, Chandra, if you've got any sort of questions or matters arising on that so far.
Excellent, Mike. In fact, there is Ramesh who was asked this question about when opening up a new market. How do you basically identify if there is a need for your product in that market? I mean, given the fact that you are harping on the point that you must have a local partner to help you, to take you there, but in the first place, I think what people are looking for is how do you identify that this product or this service will be sellable in this market? How do you do that, Mike?
Right, I think that goes back to probably part one of our conversation about identifying the right partners. I think it's very key to, and you won't, let's face it, secure executive support unless you fit with the 5 C's that we identified in the identifying partners. So it's got to be complementary to their existing product set. There's absolutely no point in trying to sell a competing product which is already part of their portfolio. There's got to be a cultural mix, and I don't just mean India versus UK. What I mean is the cultural mix, the style of going to market, probably the way in which the product is sold, engaged with the client, the way that it's invoiced, the way it's rolled out. That all needs to be complementary with the culture of the organization you're working with. There's got to be a common and agreed mechanism for communication. You need to particularly identify within your partner who are the key contacts that you need to work with. You probably need somebody who's going to own the relationship. If you haven't got anybody who's nominated within the partner to agree that approach, you're going to struggle. And then, of course, you need to ensure that the clients that they are talking to and are trading with, particularly that 80-20 rule, ensure that you believe and you can clearly articulate and demonstrate that your solution is going to fit with those clients. So I think, as you know, that's a lot of the homework before you probably get to the hints and tips I'm talking to you about, is actually ensuring that you're identifying the right ones to approach, and then that there is a complementary fit.
Well, I think thank you for answering, Mr. Ramesh. I think that's a very important key finding, even though it is already covered, but I think it's always good to recap. So Mike, when it comes to pragmatic approach, I think there are ways to do it, and you have been telling us that these are the ways. You have to look at the cultural differences, and it is always best that the local party represent you in that marketplace. But sometimes language can be a big problem, and there is a business waiting to happen, but you are not able to find a partner whom you can communicate with. So in those instances, how do you find the right mix of your business?
Well, I think if you don't find the right partner, you have to say, well, actually, maybe this isn't the right time to go into this marketplace, because it's no point throwing good money after bad, and you will waste. Bearing in mind our goals, our productivity, performance, and payback, resources, revenues, and returns. If you don't qualify in or out properly, you can not achieve your objectives, your overall objectives. So I think it's really key to say, yeah, much as it would be lovely to sell into New Delhi, we haven't got somebody who wants to help us do that. So maybe we'd be better selling into Mumbai, because we've got somebody who's very keen to work with us there, and that might be the right approach. So, there's no right or wrong answer, but it can be very difficult to just keep keep pushing the jelly uphill, to use that analogy again. If you don't have a partner to go into a market, maybe it's time to focus elsewhere. And I suppose that again, coming back to a few more hints and tips, Chandra. My next one is the infamous KISS. Keep it simple, stupid. And that applies to that last one, which is, at the end of the day, you need clients, you need prospects, you need partners who want to work with you. If they are not obvious, then actually maybe there's a different focus that you should be having, and a different angle or a different territory or a different niche. There will be somewhere, if your product's got traction, there will be somewhere that you can exploit that. And that also then comes up to the next hint and tip situation. In this post-pandemic world, SMEs have got massive opportunities now to work on a national and an international basis, because the world has gone online even more than it did before, whether it be for interactive meetings, communication like we're doing here, or whether that's to actually develop a market. And so the key to credibility is to ensure that you've got the right reference material, clients, prospects, the right case studies. If you are, trying to break into the fintech market in Mumbai, but you haven't got any fintech clients, then you're probably going to be finding that a bit difficult. So keep it simple. KISS approach. If your business is particularly strong, say in health tech, well, then go to health tech markets in your new territory. Don't try and sell into a new market that you haven't even conquered in your own territory. So it's case studies. Then there's referrals. I think it's very important here that we all do this in our personal life. If you want to have somebody come and do some plumbing work on your house or some brickwork, you generally would go for a referred contact, because you want someone who your neighbor has said, yep, they didn't actually, flood my house, or the wall fell down, or whatever. So you go for referrals, and the same is true in business. It's all about referrals. Now, what you can also utilize to open up new markets is use cases. So you can take an existing experience of other markets, other niches, other geographies, and basically say, well, actually, this worked really well in the logistics market. This is what they achieved. This is how they improve productivity, performance, and payback. This is how they optimize their resources, revenues, and returns. And therefore, we believe you could do the same if you have the same situation. This is how you establish credibility, I believe, in an online market environment and online communication situation, when we can't all necessarily meet or need to meet face to face. This is the great leveler for the SME market, in my opinion, that, at one time it was only the multinationals who could afford to spend 10 days on face-to-face meetings, shaking hands and enjoying mango lassis and chicken tikkas. But now SMEs can do global trade online. And yeah, as we've said before, Chandra, it's very nice to meet. And when we do, we can celebrate the deals rather than spend 10 months trying to develop an opportunity. All of that can be done, I think, effectively online. I've got another hint and tip here, which is having secured your initial sort of flagship deal within a partner, then I would say promote that unashamedly across the partner organization. Let the executive who sponsored you know. Let the sales team know. Let the sales management know. This is a great success. We have achieved, as a partner, productivity, performance payback, resources, revenues, and returns through implementing this joint proposition. Because these are your beachhead moments. They are the ones that are going to say suddenly, oh, well, actually, now we've got that deal out of Mumbai, we want to do a deal in Bangalore and Delhi and Kolkata. So, I think that's very important.
Well, we are having a very interesting discussion with Mike Bradley, and viewers, I think it is important for you to also know that we are live right now across multiple platforms, and you can actually post your questions using the chat functions. If you are basically having any questions regarding business or partnership or any other subject that you want to discuss with Mike, you can shoot your questions. We will get it right now, and we will get it answered by Mike straight away. So viewers, moving on our discussion, Mike, when it comes to approaching a marketplace, there are two responsibilities. One is building a sales channel, and your partners can fill in that very nicely. And the second challenge is actually doing marketing, for that product line. So
Yes.
many times people say that, hey, because I found a partner, he will do it for me. But this marketing and awareness or propagation of the product line requires a little bit of funding. So what is your opinion on that? When you're approaching a new market, you should have a budget, or you want to completely rely on a local partner?
Yeah, I think, again, I think it depends on the situation you're in, Chandra, because if you are a large global player, yes, you may want to have some sort of marketing budget. But if you're working in a joint venture environment, which I think is the most effective, is basically both parties have put some skin in the game. What can be done is the new entrant should ride on the back of the existing profile of that particular partner in the marketplace. There will be requirement at some point for some form of, probably initially, product branding, some sort of product awareness. Maybe it's training sessions, it's webinars, it's letting people know about the solution. There are effective ways to do it, or there are mega multi-million rupee budgets that need to be spent in order to raise profile in the end user or the B2C marketplace. So there is a degree of branding that's required. I think the stage you're at in the development of this partnership should actually mean, initially, the whole point of it is to optimize resources, both ends. So the way to optimize resources, I think, is through referral, reference contact. Your partner's sales channel should really be the place where the initial product and solution awareness is made, even if that means that the only thing you request of the partner is, one, that they give you a platform, probably an online opportunity, to present your solution. And you do that first meeting jointly, and you develop that together. I don't recommend that people put aside a massive, unless they've got the money, put aside a massive marketing budget to spend on, advertising on billboards across the whole of India. It just does not make sense. And as you develop the business, once you've got into that top client list, once you've got into the 80-20 rule that we talked about, yes, then maybe there's opportunities. But what will come out of it is, once you sign that flagship deal, get that as a case study, get that as a reference, use that as a referral mechanism across the sales team. I think you can be very efficient at the way you go to market.
Excellent. So I think the advice is to find the right partner. And just in case, if anyone wants to get a template, they can approach Mike, or they can reach out to us via an email. We can make the connection happen. And by the way, viewers, Mike Bradley actually is one of the key members of ScaleUpArena, which is a global entity, and it helps SMEs comes together and startup come together and multiply their strength to approach a market. So I think Mike is the right person to answer your question. So reach out to us The email will be given in the end of the program or in the description down below. But Mike, my last question from you would be that having done all this, I think the biggest challenge we get is finalizing contract, and there is a legal cost. So how do you circumvent that issue? Because if it is India and UK, it's fine because there are a lot of similarity between the legal system. But if it is like China or some other country, there could be challenge because we may not understand the language, etc. So how do you circumvent that at a lower cost? You have an opinion on that?
Yes, I do indeed. In fact, we've got partners across the ScaleUpArena platform that help with these particular aspects. So they are specialists in country establishment of entities. They are specialists in agreements. They are specialists in employing people. So I would suggest if you are looking at a market you're not familiar with, but you know that there's an opportunity, or you signed a partner, or you're wanting to sign up a partner, then reach out to us at ScaleUpArena. We can introduce you to people that can help with those, dotting the I's and crossing the T's, making sure that all the legalities are correct, because that is fundamental to the dotting the I's and crossing the T's is fundamental to getting that partnership right. And what you don't want to find is that you end up with the Indian tax man chomping at your numbers when you worked hard at them because you didn't get the agreement correct, or the type of approach that you had was incorrect. So I think it's really vital that people get the right support there, but that's specialist support, and that's where our platform and network can come to the fore, and we can really help. So apart from helping companies who want to do this, we can dig deeper into what strategy you should have for going to market. Obviously that's a chargeable basis, otherwise I get slimmer because I don't eat very much. But we can work on strategies, growth plans, access to market, access to finance, access to partners, and then introduction, be a signposting organization for those that need that sort of support.
Excellent. I think that is a very good support, and people who are watching us today can leverage ScaleUpArena network and Mike Bradley's personal connections across the world. Mike, so thank you so much for coming over this afternoon and talking to us on this very important subject, pragmatic approach towards partnership, part 3, which is hints and tips. Pleasure talking to you, Mike.
And to you too, Chandra. Have a good day.
So I will catch up with you in the next discussion. Until then, I'd like to say goodbye for today.
Yeah, goodbye to you too.